session will not be like you are going to learn SEO in 1.5 hours or 2 hours. Basically, what Bhushan will try to do is you will come to know the importance of SEO and some essential basic concepts of SEO which will help you to become a better UX UI designer. So now I will hand over it to Bhushan. So Bhushan, you can continue.
Thank you so much, Satish sir, for that introduction. So like sir said, it's an add-on skill, but I think it's one of the most important add-on skill, or you can say one of the top priority add-on skills as a UI UX designer. And that's what we are going to see, that why search engine optimization is important as an add-on skill. And so let me begin by introducing myself first. So my company name is Avega, and we have been associated with Edit and Silica for some time now. And we have been, this company has been around for 5 years. We usually work with corporates. We have 150 corporate plus clients. We have clients like Himalaya, the Himalaya products that you see or use every day, most of us. Epic Channel, there are some other corporate clients, chemical companies, event companies, and a whole lot of domains. And in the last 5 years, we have worked for or still continue to work across 7 countries. So that's about us. And as we begin this session, I'll share more about what work we do. And today's session is going to be like, there are some concepts that I've put down with respect to how UX, UI, and search engine optimization or SEO go together. But we'll also look at the practical aspect of it. So the clients whose permission we have for data sharing, I have live examples for those with respect to how the UI and UX has been designed after considering the SEO part, and what intelligent things are they doing with respect to UI UX. So we will go through a live examples, real-time examples of how UI UX and search engine optimization go together. Satish sir, if at any point of time there are questions or we need to take a break for questions or queries, please let me know.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So before we begin, like how the UI UX, how UI UX design or how being an UI UX designer gels with search engine optimization, you know, there are some of you may know search engine optimization or SEO, and some of you may not, or you must be having different ideas of search engine optimization. So let us first look at what is search engine optimization. Like Satish sir said, that we are not going to go in a lot of depth in this session about what SEO is all about. We are not actually learning SEO in this session. What we are learning is the importance of SEO in UI UX design. So basically speaking, search engine optimization is a process of optimizing your website to get organic or unpaid traffic from search engines. So I have underlined the word optimizing because what that means is what the second line says. It involves making certain changes to your website design or the website design content so that, you know, the site becomes more attractive for search engines. Now you guys in the course that you do at Edit, you are quite skilled enough to make the websites attractive for the end user in terms of look and feel, the design, the colors, a lot of other things, I would say, the font. But then how to make the site attractive for search engines? Imagine like you have created a very beautiful site, but it is not getting searched. So we don't want that to happen. So today's session is about how you can make the site attractive for search engines. Now, there are 2 types of SEOs that happen. One is an on-page SEO. Now, the on-page SEO is everything that has to do with the website. And then there is an off-page SEO. The off-page SEO is everything that doesn't have to do with the website, simply put. So the off-page SEO part is what we do here in Office, the back-end part, which is not really related to the web. I mean, we don't really make any changes to the website when it comes to off-page. And then there is an on-page part. As you grow in your career, as you move ahead in your ranks, as you step up, a lot of SEO agencies, organizations, and these marketing agencies will make you do a lot of changes in your design or codes to make SEO work better. So today we are going to look at 70% of the time we are going to look at what are the on-page aspects of search engine optimization. So just revising this part. So search engine optimization is basically optimizing your website design so that it appears in search engine very easily. So this, when I say easily, this is organic traffic. We are not paying any money for it. We will, as we go ahead, we will see what I mean by organic traffic. Okay. Now, why we are doing this? Because supplying an optimized input to the search engines is going to give you a good ranking. Like if you can actually, as a UI UX designer, you have a power to design the website in a way that it automatically gets searched by the search engines. And your website could be on the first page for some terms that the user would like to see. So this is what basically search engine optimization is about. Now, these are some of the popular search engines that you can see on the screen here. Most of us have heard about Google search engine or Bing or Yahoo. The rest are used by different countries, used by different people, for different purposes. Now, why I have mentioned these search engines here is because as a UI UX designer, your work may not be limited to a country. Like it is never country specific. Like you don't create websites for India only. So these are different search engines. And as you progress in your career, there might be some requirement from, say, Russia, and you are developing a site for a Russian company. And then there might be this, if you notice, there is a search engine called Yandex, and Yandex is popularly used in Russia. So you might have to make some changes in your website code or the way you design it as per the Russian search engine. However, Google still stays as the most popular or a very popular or the commonly used search engine. So these are some of the search engines. As I said, we are not going in the depth of search engine optimization. So throughout the presentation, we will stick only to Google, like how our websites respond and react to Google as a search engine. So this is the part where we are going to see how search engine actually works. Now, we'll begin with this thing in the center. This thing here is a search engine. Like this is something that we are all talking about today. This is Google. Now, what does Google do? Google actually crawls. Like if you can imagine a child crawling, Google actually crawls through your website. It actually goes through each and every line, each and every content in the website that you have put. And this happens through what they call as bots, search bots. I have written here in the text. Now these search bots are also called as web crawlers or spiders. That is why we have used spiders here. They don't look this way. Spiders are nothing but programmed algorithms. Just because we call them spiders, you will see this image everywhere as a popular reference. So what Google search engine basically does is, through these spiders, which are programmed algorithms, they scan your website. For the ease of understanding, I would just say that Google just goes through your website. It sends these crawlers who go through the website. What these crawlers do is, they evaluate your web pages, that how you have designed them, how easy it is for them to go through these web pages. So this is all the work that these crawlers do. They are just like, they visit your website, they analyze everything, they pick up all the keywords and metadata, etc. Now what they also do is they go through all the pages. Like they will go through the home page, they will go through the about us page, they will go through your product pages if it is a product website. So they will go through all these pages. They will collect all the information from here. And what they do is they share and store this information in a large database. Now, if you notice, I have highlighted some keywords here, like this word, keyword. Now, this is what we are going to see. So what the spiders or these bots pick up, they don't really pick up the entire content. They pick up some keywords, which this information has to be supplied by you through your design, that this keyword is important. Like at places, you must be using a H1 tag. so the importance of H1 tag in SEO is it tells the crawler or it tells the spider that this is the main heading of the page. This is what the entire page is about. So if you have not used an H1 tag, and if you have not used an appropriate keyword in that H1 tag, it is very less likely that your page is going to be searched. So what these spiders or crawlers do is they identify keywords associated with the tag. Now what they do is they store all this information in large databases. So they have this huge, Google has these huge databases where they store all this information. Now, how is it stored? It is stored in an indexed manner. Like going ahead in this presentation, I have also prepared an index of topics that we are going to cover today, right? Your books must also be having indexes. Like most of these things, the books we read have indexes. The user manuals that we get with machines have indexes. Now, what these indexes do is they help us locate data. So similarly, all the data that these bots or spiders collect, they're stored in an indexed format in this database. Now, what happens as an end result is whenever a user types some query, what these spiders or bots do is they check in their index which is the best result for the query you have typed. And then that result is displayed here on your Google screen. So this is how the entire search engine works. Just to revise the entire concept, Google has a program called bots, crawlers, or spiders. We can call them crawlers. This program crawls through all the content in your website. Then it goes through each and every page of your website. It picks up certain keywords, links, all the data that the algorithm feels is important in your website. It stores all the data in these databases. And whenever someone searches any term on Google, it finds out if the data on your website is relevant to that term and then shows the user the result, the desired result. So this is how the search engines work. This is how SEO works. So we will go in the detail of how UI UX can be important for SEO.
Before we go ahead, Bhushan,
right.
So I think we should ask our students. So did you got it, this diagram? And if do you have anything to ask? Somebody had asked that they need pointers to note down. So see, you note down which things you think important. Later on, we will put this presentation on YouTube or something where you can you can see this video again and note down the pointers.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. But now, if you have any doubt, anything to ask for the diagram, because this is very important. This is very important that you should understand this, because this is how Google works. That is what Bhushan sir is trying to tell us. So if you understood, can you raise your hands, all of you? Okay.
Got it. We have enough responses. Yeah.
So we got. So is somebody is asking.
Yes, sir.
UX UI designer. 1 minute. There were questions. Let me take them. I have one question. Should UX UI designer design considering SEO? Basically, SEO is more of content point of view. Is Bhushan sir agree with me? It's more on content point of view, and UX UI design is more of SEO's end target is mostly Google and user. Obviously, user should like the website, and UX UI design's main target is user only, not a Google. They don't consider Google as a user. That is the difference in that. So I will ask one more question.
So just adding on one more line here, that we have a topic today that one of the topics which will come up today is the question that you asked. Like as a designer, should you design considering SEO, or you should design first and then consider SEO? So we will look at that, and how, what we call it, how in an intelligent way you can incorporate search engine optimization terms in your design. So there is a part where you can mix the design with SEO. We will see that today in detail.
Yeah, one more question is there, and I will clear that. Is SEO a part of digital marketing or UX UI designing? So, Amish, it is Amish.
Right.
SEO is definitely a part of digital marketing. It is not a part of UX UI designing, but UX designer is something who should know all the things. He should be expert in his thing, but the more he knows about online things, so he's going to design the thing. The more he knows, the better he designs. So in this way, again, I will tell you, SEO is a part of digital marketing and not directly UX UI design right now in that. So Bhushan sir, you can continue.
Yes, yes. So, in the future, it can be a part of UI UX design also. And we never know the way things are evolving. And this is where the clash happens, because there, as you join as UI UX designers, there are a lot of digital marketing agencies which are going to bother you to incorporate a lot of SEO related things in your design. So that is why we are doing this as a preventive measure, that you already know what is going to come your way. Yes, sir. Is that it?
Yes, yeah. Everybody understood, and we can move forward.
Sure. Yeah. So this is what some of you asked, some of you thought about that. Is UI UX SEO different? So I think UI UX and SEO go better together. And if you notice, the term here is UX. So user experience has a lot more to do with SEO. User interface comes much later. So at the user experience stage, like your course also reads UX UI design. So you first try to understand the user experience and then you design the UI. So one of the part of understanding the user experience is search engine optimization. So that is what we are going to see now. So firstly, something very basic. Why are we doing this? I mean, you are already in a very good institute. I know your placement records. I know your average salaries. I know you're going to get placed in some good companies. So why are we learning this add-on skill with UI UX? You're already a UI UX designer by now. So why are we learning SEO, or the importance of SEO basically in UI UX design? So the first point I have noted is the most relevant and the most, so the first thing that would come to your mind also. So imagine you're sitting in a job interview, or if you have applied for a job interview. So the 4 or 5 or 10 other people who have applied with you are also UI UX designer. Now, definitely there will be a different level of skill that you will have and they will have, and everything of that is fine. But if you know how SEO impacts UX or UI design, or what is the importance of SEO with respect to UX UI design, your chances of getting that seat increase a lot, because this is something that the other candidates may or may not have, because this is not a topic which a UX UI designer usually considers important. But in your interview, you can talk about that. Apart from UX UI, this is the UX I have designed considering search engine optimization as well. Now that becomes an added asset. So that makes you an added asset, valuable asset for the company you're applying to. That is the first point, which is very critical. The second point is it helps you design a meaningful, high ROI user interface. Now, what do I mean by meaningful is we'll cover it in detail later, but there are a lot of terms in our UI design that we use very loosely. Sometimes, I think 90% of our buttons on the website read learn more or read more. Now they just are termed as learn more or read more because that is the only thing we know to write on buttons. But is it really required? Is it really meaningful? Or does it really give us a good return on investment? We don't know. So a knowledge of search engine optimization while you prepare your UI will definitely help you create a high ROI, a return on investment, and a meaningful website. Now, the third part is, we don't know as the syllabus evolves or as you move ahead or as you move into the...
Bhushan sir, ROI, we need to understand, because our student might not understand what is ROI.
Okay. So when I say ROI, when a company creates a website or an application, what it looks at is how much of traffic can this website attract. Like if I create a store like Flipkart, but I create a very bad design, I may not get any return on investment. So I am investing X amount of money to create a website and I'm expecting a return. So ROI is basically return on investment. So as a UI UX designer, some company has invested on you to create their website. So is your design meaningful enough and attractive enough to give them a return? So that is the ROI or return on investment that I'm talking about. So the next part is, you never know, SEO may become a part of UX learning package very soon. Or if you, when you join as UX UI designers, you will definitely encounter some work related to SEO that you will have to do in your, practically have to do in your assignments. And the fourth thing that we are looking at is to prepare yourself holistically as a UX UI designer. Now, right now you have a superb knowledge of what UX is, what UI is, how to design, all the tools, etc., etc. But this 5%, if you add of SEO, the 5% knowledge also if you add of SEO, you can be a lot more confident about designing your UX and UI, and you'll become a holistic UX UI designer and not only restricted to colors, fonts, placements as a designer. So this is the intention why we are doing this session today. So like I shared before, SEO is all about user experience. And what is user experience? It is the time, it is the way the user behaves when he comes to the website. It is the bounce rate, like sometimes people come on the website and they don't click at all. It is the organic conversions that happen. When I say organic, I mean people naturally coming to your website. So how much time the user spends on the website. You know, if you have created a beautiful website, you definitely want people to spend a lot of time. So SEO has a very important role when it comes to user experience. Now let us look at what are some of the tools that we are going to use, or which are usually used for SEO purpose. So these are the tools. One is Google Analytics. This is something definitely you have to integrate on your websites that you design. It gives you the entire analysis of the user behavior with respect to your website. Then there is Google Webmaster Tools. Google Webmaster Tools is nothing but it gives you an idea of how the search engines are reacting to your website. Then there is Google Trends, and then there is Google Keyword Planner. We will look at these tools in a very short manner. I'll show you some of these tools live as well. So this is how a Google Analytics setup looks like. As we proceed in the session, we will go into the details. I just wanted to show you how the Google Analytics looks like. This is how Google Webmaster Tool looks like. What Google Webmaster Tool does, I'll repeat again, is it gives you an analysis of how search engines are reacting to your website. Like as a UX UI designer, you may feel that everything in this website is perfect, but then the Google Webmaster Tool tells you that these 3-4 things may not be really perfect in your website. Now, this is a tool that I'm going to show you live, which is Google Trends. I don't know how many of you have heard about Google Trends, but Google Trends, what it does is, if you put any keyword here that you would like to visit, that you would like to add on to your website, it gives you an idea of how this keyword is trending. So we will see this live. So as we may have limited time, I have searched this keyword which says UI UX design course. And I have selected country as India, and I have selected period as past 12 months. Now, Google Trends is an openly available website. You don't need to register or pay anything for it. You only need to go to trends.google.com, or you can just search Google Trends and you will land here. Now this tells you how popular this keyword has been on the internet over a period of time, right from 15 September 2019 till today, 9th of September. So this is more in a graph format where 100 means that the popularity has been at the highest, and 0 means that you don't have enough data, and so on. I mean, 50% is this has been half popular. Now, one of the trends I've noticed when I searched UI UX design course is that it is always at a low when the university exam times are around. Like say March is the month where it will be low, or during the vacation time, during May time or April time, because a lot of people are giving their exams or may not be searching this keyword. But then it is very high when it comes to the months of July and August. So what the Google Trends website does is, it gives you an overview of what kind of keywords can you use on your website. Just to make things a bit light, I'll show you how this works in reality. If we type something like some hot topic which is going on for days, which is COVID. This term was never been searched last year. But this Google Trend shows how this has trended over a period of time in India. Like people have been searching this keyword crazily from March all the way up to May. And now the search of this keyword has declined. And in August, its popularity is at 30, which is almost, as good as now the life of this keyword is now dying. So this is a very important Google Trend software, which you may want to use as you figure out what keywords do you really need to use on your website. So I think these are the 4 softwares. Google Keyword Planner is a lot more technical. We will not go into that. So, sir, now we will begin with the core topics for the session today. So far, if anyone has any queries, we can take them, because now we will move on to the details of how SEO is related to UI UX directly.
Okay, so as Bhushan sir told us that these are the 4 tools which a SEO person use. So you can write down their names. You can try them later on. So what are the things we can use them with our Google account, Bhushan sir?
Yes. What happens is, if you are logged in through a Google account, you don't need to create a Google Analytics account. If you type analytics or Google Analytics and sign in, you can sign in with your Gmail account. Yeah. But if you're creating this for the client, it is advisable that you do it through client's account. So all these are Google tools, and you can use a single Gmail login to use all of these tools. And these are freely available tools.
Google Analytics, I think the code should be on your website and it should be configured to your email address. Then only you can see. You cannot see any other website, Google Analytics, as far as I think. So you need to have that permission for your email address to check whichever websites analytics you want to check.
The first 2 tools, which are Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools, need your configuration. They need to be configured. Your website needs to be configured on the Google Webmaster Tools and Analytics. The last 2 tools, which are Google Trends and Google Keyword Planner, are open tools.
What about AdWords, they are saying?
AdWords is also an open tool, but it comes more in the category of paid advertising. We use it usually when the digital marketing agencies we use it for paid advertising. The website as such has very less to do with it, because as the saying goes, as long as we pay money in AdWords, it will show your ad, and that ad will take people to your website. The day the money stops, it will not show your ad and your website will not have any traffic.
Okay, means it is not a part of SEO, it's a part of SEM, that is search engine marketing.
Correct.
That is different topic. Mainly it is not with user experience and other things. It is like paying the money and doing your advertisement on Google.
Correct.
Okay. So we'll go ahead.
Yeah. So these are the 8 topics that we are going to cover today in depth. And these are all related to UI UX or rather UX UI. So this is the kind of index, like as a SEO person, we are used to indexing. So this is the index of today's session. And I think let's begin with this. So after every 2 to 3 topics, we have clustered these topics as per the intention or like commonality between all of these. So after every 3 topics, we can have a session for queries where you can ask your queries. Also, I would like to ask, I would like to tell everyone that as we go through these topics, if you go through them as only with the perspective of knowledge or information, you will definitely get benefited. But I would like you to keep in mind a portfolio or a website that you are creating. Like I have seen a lot of work that you have done, the portfolios that you design. Some of you have designed for railways, like I've seen M indicators, I've seen beauty salons, I've seen a lot of portfolios of students of edit. So if you can keep in mind one website that you have designed or you intend to design and go through these topics, it will be very helpful. It will help you relate to that website, that how are these topics relevant to that website. So let us begin.
Before we start, Bhushan sir, one question has come that all these Google tools are important for Google Apps. How we measure traffic on Google Apps is the question, means that type of thing.
So some of them may be important for Google App. We will go through that also. And most of them may not be relevant to Google Apps.
Okay, but we use them also for Google App.
Yes.
It's not only for website. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. We can go ahead.
Yeah. So the first topic is search intent. So like when you design a website, you must be asking the user or your client that why are you creating this website? Like what is your intention of creating this website? So similarly, when it comes to SEO or adding content on the website, we ask the user first, and then we have to ourselves study that what is the intention of search. Simply put, you know, how do I put it? It's like this line that I have put in bold. Not all the keywords or phrases will mean what we think they mean. Simply put, कि जो हम सोचते हैं कि इस लाइन का मीनिंग ये होगा, शायद सर्च इंजन को नहीं पता कि इस लाइन का मीनिंग ये हो, एंड शायद आपके कस्टमर्स को भी नहीं पता कि दैट दिस लाइन मीन्स XYZ thing. Just to give you an example, if you're creating a website for say Pizza Hut or Domino's, you know, the term buy pizza and the term buy pizza bread have different meanings altogether. You know, someone who's searching buy pizza bread online should not land on a Pizza Hut website, because he's not searching for a pizza or not searching to order a pizza. He's just trying to buy some pizza bread. So the intention of that user is to buy pizza bread and not to buy a pizza. So identifying what is the intention of end users is very, very important, because at times we may end up using certain keywords on the website which may not really mean what we want to convey. Just to give you another example, very relevant to your field, the keyword UI UX design is not the same as UX UI design. You know, your course name is Diploma in UX UI Design, because that is how it is rightly structured. We actually get the user experience first, and then we move on to the user interface, designing the interface. Without understanding the user experience, we cannot design the user interface. But if you ever Google UX UI design course, Google will tell you एक नीचे लाइन आएगा and Google will tell you, did you mean UI UX design course? Whereas you are actually searching UX UI design course only. Now this is because as per Google, customer search intent, like what a lot of customers have been searching on Google is UI UX design. Now as UX UI designers, you might think, why is this so? Now I'll tell you why. Because you are students of UX UI design, you know UX UI, but someone who's looking to enroll in this course, usko ye nahi pata, he doesn't know that this course is actually UX UI course. Like you need to understand the user experience first and then design the user interface. He doesn't know that because he has not done this course. So what Google says is, people usually search for UI UX design and they don't search for UX UI design. So whenever you create a website and think of adding content to the website, the first thing you will have to do is identify the customer's search intent, what your customers intend to do. Just to give you some statistics, UX UI design course, the one I have written here in green, has a search volume, a monthly search volume of 2,400. Like this keyword, UI UX design course, this keyword is searched 2,400 times every month on Google. Whereas UX UI design course is searched only 140 times on Google. Now this is what we identified from the search intent. Now imagine if you are creating a website for a class like Edit or for Edit itself, you may want to use this keyword UI UX design course more as compared to this keyword, which is UX UI design course, because this has more traffic. Why this has more traffic? Because people intentionally search this keyword. So this is the first part, identifying what people are searching. So this is the first part of SEO, which will help you design your websites. Summarizing this part, search the most popular terms with respect to your domain. Like with respect to Edit, we have UI UX design course, and add them to your website. Now the second part. Now this is some part that we do very exhaustively. We call this keywords, keyword research and finalization. I'll show you a list. Before that, what we do is, there are a lot of free tools, like there is Google Keyword Planner. Then there are some free tools like SEMrush. There are Ahref. There are a lot of these free tools. If you Google them, you will find them easily. Now, what these free tools do is, say you're creating a website for Edit. So Edit deals with UX UI design courses. So if you add terms like UX UI design courses or computer courses or design courses, what these tools do is, they give you an exhaustive list of keywords along with their search volume. So what they will do is, they will give you 1,000 keywords, 500 to 1,000 keywords. And ahead of those keywords, there will be monthly search volume written ahead of them. I'll show you an example. So this is one of our clients called TAF. So the full form is the Artisan Foundation. Now we haven't begun any work on them. So these are around 24 to 25 keywords that we have identified for them through free tools. So what we did is, we created a whole list of, I think around 500 keywords, which are relevant to this client of ours, which is the Artisan Foundation. Now, from those 500 keywords, we have picked up these top 25 keywords that are relevant to them based on the volume. Like this keyword, wooden toys, has a volume of 3,600. Now, I definitely want this on the website. And I definitely want this on the website very prominently. So this is the second step, creating an exhaustive list of keywords and then finalizing the keywords that are relevant to you. And how do we do this? Through free tools. There are a lot of free online tools that will allow you to do this. Now, why is this important? like analyzing these keywords, putting them on the website. Like someone had asked initially when we started this seminar that should we do SEO keywords first and then create the UX UI, or should we do the UI UX and then do SEO? So if you do SEO first, like create a list of these keywords, it will help you a lot with respect to your UI UX. I'll tell you how. Now for this client of ours, whose most popular keyword is wooden toys, you know, I'm going to put a call to action on their website which says buy wooden toys or explore wooden toys, instead of just using a keyword called buy now. Now in this case, buy wooden toys as a keyword is very important and relevant and meaningful as compared to writing something like buy now. All the websites or all the designs that you do, why we do all this? Just to finally so that someone comes to the website and buy something, buy some products, buy some services. End result is that the customer should come and do something on the website, make a purchase or enroll for a course or buy some products, toys, enroll for a service. Now, if your call to action, the buttons that you design, they may look very beautiful and they may be placed well as well. But if they do not have an appropriate text over them, you know, it will reduce the chances of the user clicking it. Let me show you an example. Like I shared some time back that in India, 90% of the websites would use keywords like learn more, read more, but let us see what others do. Now, this is a very popular website called edX. Now, edX is a consortium of 100 and 140 top universities in the world, and they have formed this platform. That is not right now important to us. What is important to us is how are they using these keywords on the buttons? Like हम लोग लिख देते हैं learn more, and what are these guys writing? So if you notice here, this button here reads view all edX courses. They don't write view all, or they don't write all courses, or they don't write read more. View all edX courses is more meaningful. If I go to some of their other pages, I will find more meaningful call to actions there. Like this is their home page. Now this website has a lot of courses. So the button reads find courses. In general, we could have written learn more, and on click of it, it would have taken me to find courses. But find courses is a more relevant call to action here. If I scroll down, the second button here reads request information. This could have we could have easily put it in our UX as learn more. But these guys are not doing that. They're only putting very relevant call to actions here, which says request information. And I know that on click of this button, I'm going to get some information or some form is going to open from where I can request information. Now, if you notice this button here, it says browse online courses. It doesn't say see all courses or see all. We love to use, this shortcut, see all, view all. It doesn't say any of this. It says browse online courses. So this is what I mean, how SEO or these keywords are important when you design a UX or when you design your sites or applications. Like this is the user experience or UX that we are talking about. And this comes from the study of keywords. Like this is a more meaningful keyword to add on to a button. Browse all subjects or request more information, find courses. If you notice when we scroll through this website, I hardly notice that there is a button over here. It naturally takes me through the flow. Access 2,500 courses and find course. This button doesn't appear like a button, which I've just pasted it on the website for the purpose of pasting it. So this is what I mean by entice the click. Like, once the person sees your call to action button related to these keywords, he should be just, he must be just instinctively, he should click it. So this is how keywords will help you to design the UI. and understand the user experience. This was the second part. Now the third part we are going to look at is content optimization. Sir, shall we move on to the third part, or do we have any questions as of now? Because I think we have covered search intent.
We should move to third and then we can take down the questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the third part is content optimization. So this is a non-technical part, and it is a natural flow from the list of keywords that we just saw. So the content optimization, when I say non-technical, there is a technical aspect to it which will come later. So what do I mean by content optimization? Now this is also a very important part of the UX. Okay, you need to place your content properly as per the user experience. So when you talk about user experience is also about the content that the user reads on the website. Obviously, it is a lot about how visually how good the website appears to him, but then he has to read through the content. So this is the point of time in your design process that a content writing agency comes into play. Like this part is usually outsourced to a content writing agency or content writers. You know, now what these content writers do is they will give you content in terms of paragraphs, etc. But if you have a good knowledge of SEO or keywords that are to be used, you can suggest them that this is the part in my website where I want these 5 keywords to be. So this is how content optimization will help you. Now this is absolutely non-technical. This is the content that you would usually read on the website. Now make sure you create a keyword heat map. Now what do I mean by keyword heat map? Suppose you have designed 5 pages for a website, you know, and now you have 25 keywords. You can't place them anywhere. You need to create a map. Like you need to just create some columns. Like the first column may read home page, and then you decide that on the home page, I'm going to add only these 5 keywords. Then there will be a product page, and then you have to decide that on the product page, I will add these 5 keywords. So you need to create a map. You need to cluster relevant keywords together and distribute them among your website. It should not happen that, like I have written here, you know, iski topi uske sir. Like कि graphic designing course के page पे हम UI UX की बात कर रहे हैं, and UI UX में हम graphic designing की बात कर रहे हैं, and you know the content should not mix up, and content will only mix up if you mix up the keywords. So what you should do is you should create a keyword heat map where you should distribute all these keywords, and then you know if I'm designing the home page, this is the only set of keywords that I'm going to use on the home page. So this is what content optimization, the non-technical part, is about. So, sir, I think we have covered 3 topics here. First is the search intent, intention of the customer. What is he searching? What we think and what the customer thinks, the difference between that. The second part is your keyword research. Like before you design the UX and UI, you need to research keywords that you can use on the page and then use them appropriately, like we saw on the edX website. Not like just write, learn more, read more. These are call to actions, but there are other points of content as well. And the third part is content optimization. After you do your keyword research and finalization, you need to optimize the website on your content, and you need to make sure that appropriate number of keywords are there in your content at appropriate places. So yes, sir, I think we have completed 3 parts. We should ask some query if someone has queries now.
Okay. If somebody has a query, you can type in chat box, and if you understood, please raise your hand so that we can move to further things. Do we have to see high competition, low competition keywords? That was one person is asking. I don't think so it is relevant, but if you want to answer that here.
Yes, definitely. So one is, we should see that, like I can show you this chart again. I will zoom this a bit. If you notice, the first 5 keywords have a very high search volume. They have a search volume of 3,600, 1,900. These first 5 keywords here have very high search volume. And I would prefer using high competition keywords, because end of the day, I want my website to compete with other websites. So I will make sure that I use high competition keywords, and high competition keywords are usually high volume keywords as well, or they are keywords that people are paying a lot of money in AdWords to be searched for. So you should definitely use high competition keywords on your website.
Yeah, I think other are understood, so we can go ahead.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So the next topic is content optimization, which is a technical part of the content optimization. So the technical part of the content optimization requires you to make some technical changes on the website. Now, I don't know if you have cover this in your syllabus. These are typically title tags or breadcrumbs. They are definitely a part of your design, but from SEO perspective, how useful are they? A lot of UI designers ask us, or our customers also ask us, that why are you using breadcrumbs on the website? Isn't that an outdated phenomena, or isn't that an outdated strategy? Why are we using breadcrumbs? So we are going to see why we use breadcrumbs and why are they important to us. And so there are 4 major technical terms when it comes to content optimization. So the first part is the title tag. So the title tag is the title of your page. So when you design, technically you must be giving a title to your page. So this is a title tag. Now this title must be there in your content. But let me show you how this looks technically in the code. So in the header part of your code, this is the title you put. Now this is the example of edit only that I have taken. So this title reads Best UI UX Graphic Web Mobile App Design Course in Mumbai, Thane and Pune. Now this title is very, very important. Now this title is not necessarily the title that is there in your content. ये title आपके content का part शायद ना हो आपके web page पर. But in the backend, this title needs to be there. I'll tell you why. Now, if I search, if I go to the edit website right now, this title is not there on the website, but this title is here. If you can see the box over here in the top, this part, it reads Best UI UX Graphic Web Mobile Design Course. Now this title will show when I search edit on Google. So when you design the website, you also need to consider this title tag as very important part, because no matter how beautiful you design the page, the content from the page will randomly show up in Google if you don't feed this information to Google. So in the edit website, we have added the title tag which says Best UI UX Graphic Web Mobile Design Course in Mumbai, Thane, Pune, etc. And that is why it shows here. It is not a coincidence. Okay, so that is why content optimization with respect to technical aspects is important. Again, I'm repeating, this content or these tags are not on what you see as in final output on the website, are not a part of your design, but they're a part of your code. They're right here. The first item in the head section, you have to insert your title. Now, this is not a very technically complicated thing to do. It is a very simple thing. If you Google it, you will easily be able to make out how to add a title in this, in the website, in any website you develop. Second part is URL or breadcrumbs. Now, how these URL or breadcrumbs behave is, they appear in Google search. Like this, Manipal University is using breadcrumbs. So they are appearing here in Google search. You can see breadcrumbs over here. Now, how to use these breadcrumbs with respect to design? Because a lot of times we feel breadcrumbs are really boring and they don't look good on the website. If you see, edX has used them very conveniently. They have used them where necessary. You will not find any breadcrumbs on this page, the home page. On the architecture page, however, you will find breadcrumbs. Now, why these breadcrumbs are important is, one is they add links to your page. Only having plain content will not help Google's bots or spiders read content on the website. You need to have a lot of links on the page. Not a lot of links, but you definitely need to have links on the page. So one part is the breadcrumbs add links to the page. Secondly, जो Google का spider या Google का bot होता है, it helps them identify the structure of the page. So these breadcrumbs help you identify, Google identify the structure of the page. So make sure wherever relevant, you would want to include them in your design. Now, if I go to some pages like view all courses, it may not have a breadcrumb because it is not required. It doesn't fit into the user experience, and hence it is not a part of the UI, and it is not required for the search engine as well. Usually what we do when we design website, हम एक as a thumb rule add कर देते हैं. Client को पूछते हैं कि do you want a breadcrumb? If he says yes, we use a breadcrumb throughout the website. If he says no, we don't use the breadcrumb at all. So it is not a matter of looks, or it is not a matter of client's choice. It is a matter of optimizing your content for search engines. Whether to use breadcrumbs and these URLs or not is a matter of optimizing your content for search engines. So when you design this is what we call intelligent design. Use breadcrumbs where necessary. Title tags you definitely have to use. Now there is something called meta description. So meta description is something that is followed by the title tag. Like here we have written a description: Edit Institute conduct courses for UX design, UI design, graphic design, etc., etc. Edit has centers across Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and Ahmedabad. If you notice in the Google search, this is the content that appears here. The content that we have inserted. This is not some random by default content that has come from the web page. No. We need to feed Google what we want to show. Otherwise, it will show some random thing, which will not be very beneficial for you. So as a UX UI designer, what is important is you create this layout. Like this layout looks beautiful. This has been well created. But if someone Googles it, it may not look that beautiful. So we have to feed these search engines with proper inputs. And that is why this is the title and this is the meta description. So you don't not only have to design the website in terms of its look and feel, but you have to design the code in a way that when your website comes on Google, it looks beautiful there too. Like this doesn't look inappropriate. This looks like we have done it properly. The next part is the header tag. Now the header tags are very important. I remember in my college days, we used to only learn it as something that is the most biggest form of text when it comes to UI UX design. Like the H1, whichever text is the biggest on the website is H1, a little smaller is H2, a little smaller than that is H3, and so on. But H1 has a very different importance altogether. Like I showed you, let me take you back there, that these crawlers, they crawl through your website. So when they crawl through your website, if you have created a page for UI UX design course, the first thing that they are going to look at is if you have a H1 tag on the website. They are only going to pick up the H1 tag of the website as the header of your page. So if your website doesn't have the name of the product in the H1 bracket or in the H1 tag, you are going to miss out on your website being visible on search engine big time. As a designer, you can size this H1 tag. You know, you can make it, if your current font header of the website is 30 pixels, you can put it as an H1 tag and you can style the H1 tag to be 30 pixels. But make sure that the main heading of your website is always in the H1 tag, because that's what the search engine knows. It is not a human, it is a robot. So it doesn't know where the heading of the website is. It will only check if H1 is present, and that is what it will pick as a heading of the website. So this is a technical part. To quickly revise this part, there are title tags, which we have to supply from the backend or the code. There are breadcrumbs. This is a part of the design. You may use it conveniently where required. This again helps the search engines. There are meta descriptions. This is again to be supplied through the code. This is not a feature of the front end that you design, but as a designer or someone who's developing the website, you definitely have to include this in your backend code. And then there are header tags. So whenever you're creating product specific pages, service specific pages, make sure that you include your main title or the product name or the service name inside a H1 tag. So this is how otherwise it would look like. I don't know if you code in the same manner. For some people who look at it first time, it may look very complicated, but it is not. This is how the design always is. It is quite simple. So sir, we have completed the fourth part. If we have any questions, we can take them now, or we can move on to the fifth part.
I need to clear a few things. Basically, this coding is not part of our syllabus. This is a front-end development. When you learn HTML, CSS, some of our students is IT students, so they might know this already, these H1 tags, title tags or something. But now you are telling them the use of that tags and what we should write in that tags.
Correct.
Those who don't know what is HTML and what is this meta and other thing, for them it is going to be little difficult to understand because this is little technical. So there are, as Bhushan sir told, there is on page and off page. This is on page means actually coding. On page means actually coding wise you can enhance SEO, and there is off page means you don't have to code anything. You just use the content correctly or do other things like Google Analytics and so many other tools you use, and you enhance SEO for your website.
Right.
Okay. So I think we can go ahead with this, and we don't have any question on this. Sure. Do you have any question on this? Let us ask. Okay. If you understood, please raise your hand. And then lower them also later on. Yeah, they understood.
So we'll move on with the next slide.
Yeah.
So now this is design optimization. So
okay,
like Satish sir,
I think this is very important for UX.
Right. So we are going to spend some time on this, and we'll take questions on this too. You know, after this topic. So this is design optimization. How aesthetically these keywords or SEO helps you while designing it. So if you notice the person on the screen here is running. So this means that the design optimization begins with speed. No matter how beautiful website you design, of course, the development team has to code it. But while designing also, you can take care of certain aspects that can make the website faster. Use of images, minimum use of images, or how certain things can be a part of the code itself and not the design. Usually designers have an upper hand. They advise the developers that don't use, like there is a background of this in this PPT. If I am a designer, I will tell the developer that don't use this background as an image. Use this as a code. You know? So design optimization is what we will look at with respect to SEO. So first thing that we are going to do is designing the CTA buttons. So you guys are expert in how the call to action button should be with respect to the color, the size, the animation. What our work is to show you the text on it. So we have already seen an example of edX that they have. I'll again show you that website. They have used different types of buttons with different types of text, with different types of color and sizes. Like the find courses button here, the way they have designed is, you can take a call on how to design it, what colors to use. But the text they have used, like again I'm repeating, is not read more or learn more, but find courses. So this is the kind of design input that you can get while doing, when you think of keywords. Now, if you notice, the request information button is a bit different, is in a bit different color and has a different text. It again doesn't say find courses or read more. It says request information. So maybe this is something that they are uniformly using for forms or for requesting information. Now there is a third button which is very subtly used, which is browse online courses. So what they have done is they have kept the design quite simple, the semicircular design, but they have used the text very differently. Now I would like to show you the second point of what we are discussing. The placement of CTA buttons. Depending on the text, a lot of times we place buttons based on how they will look nice. Where they will look nice. Like if there is a paragraph that I have written, I'll usually place a button below that paragraph just because it will look nice there. But how you can place it intelligently, or like what we call an intelligent design again, is understanding what is written on the button. I would like to take your focus on this button, which says view all edX courses. Now they must have done some study or research because of which they have added this button here. Ideally, what designers would have done is they would have dragged and put this button over here, where they have written related topics. You know how an ideal design is. There's a 3-line paragraph, and below that, in the center or on the left, we have a button. So based on the text that is written on the button and what you want the user to do, you can place your buttons intelligently. Now, how to place these buttons comes from what text is added on the button, and what text is added on the button comes from your research and finalization of the keywords that you do. If you notice, there is a button that is consistently present everywhere, and that button is register, which is right on the top, and it is always visible in whichever page I visit. So this part is placement and designing of your CTA buttons with respect to the text that is added on it. The other part is incorporating the breadcrumbs. Now this also we have already covered, but I'll again like to go through this. Like as a part of design, these breadcrumbs, now I like to go through it through an SEO perspective. These breadcrumbs have been incorporated here just to make sure that the search engine picks up these links. The search engine will either pick up links, it will either pick up tags like H1 tags, or it will either pick up that technical piece of code that we have supplied from the backend. But from the front end, what it is going to pick up is these links. And the breadcrumbs are the best opportunity to display these links. The second part is why we are putting the breadcrumbs. Like I shared, when search engines pick up content from the website, they put it in the database, they dump it in the database, but in a structured way. So tomorrow when someone searches architecture courses online, the search engine will show it as home, all subjects and architecture. It will be far easier for the search engine to search an architecture course on this website as compared to hundreds and thousands of other websites on the web, because this website has a breadcrumb. So the importance of breadcrumb with respect to design, I don't know how you look at it. It may look good, it may not look good as a part of design, but as a part of search engine, it is very important. If I remove this breadcrumb from here, it is going to become very difficult for the search engine to actually search this page in a difficult way, in a easy way, sorry. And it will not prefer looking my website first. It will prefer searching an architecture page on some other website which has a neatly designed breadcrumb. So this is how breadcrumbs are an important part of your design. The third part is speed optimization. So you need to be very intelligent with the speed optimization as well. So for example, when we had designed the website for Epic TV channel, I don't know how many of you are aware of this TV channel. There's a TV channel called Epic. Epic channel usually has these travel shows, etc., mythology. So they have a different version on the website on mobile and desktop. I mean, it's a responsive design. And what we had done is we had used some lines of code for the desktop version, and we would hide it on the mobile. And then there was some line of code for the mobile version, and we would hide it on the desktop. You know, never do this, because it will increase the speed. It will decrease the loading speed of the website, and it will increase the loading time. So what we did is we made the website responsive. We made the content responsive. We reduced the content on the website and made it smart. Like instead of writing the whole description and name of the show, we just wrote the name of the show. So the speed optimization is very important for any website. So when you design, make sure that there is appropriate and enough content, not a lot of content on the website, and not too less as well. The fifth part is image compression and nomenclature. Now, as we move ahead in this session, I'll tell you why image nomenclature is, naming the images is appropriately is important. We'll cover that in one of the coming slides. But make sure that as a designer, I know you have worked hard and you have designed everything beautifully. You may have designed a lot of images and creatives very beautifully, but if they are very heavy, people are, the website is going to become very heavy, and there's a very high chance that the bounce rate of the website would become very high. People are not going to wait for 10 or 12 or 15 seconds. So make sure you compress all the websites. Another part is search engines or Google tends to display results which display results prominently for websites which are responsive. Which adapt to all the devices, the mobile phones, tablets. And in fact, I'll show you some of the data as we go ahead. There are a lot of people who visit websites only through mobile. I'll show you right away. This is one of our website clients called Corporate Chameleons. And if you notice, 93% of the traffic that they have received on the website, I'll just zoom this bit. Yeah. So if you notice, 93% of the traffic that they have received on the website is through the mobile phone. So it is very important that whenever you design, you make sure that the website is completely optimized for the mobile without leaving any stone unturned, not even a small gap. 93%, sorry, is for the mobile, and there is only 7% traffic that is coming through the desktop, which is very less. As a designing agency, we get a lot of requirements these days of clients who say, I want you to design the website for mobile first, and it's okay if that it doesn't look that great on the computer. So make sure that your website is responsive. It adjusts itself to all devices. Google is definitely going to pick up websites which are responsive for its top results. If your website is not responsive, there is a very high chance that Google won't pick up your website to show the end users. So the next part is interlinking in terms of design optimization. Make sure that when you design your pages, again, I will pick on edX. Make sure you have a lot of links on the page as a part of design. Like this page has a lot of links. They have some links in the content too, because like I shared, search engines, they only prefer keywords, tags, or these links. And if your keywords are inside this content, make sure you make them bold. So interlinking is very important. Now I'll tell you why interlinking is important. Otherwise, it helps your user or your customer to navigate from one page to another. Like if I am buying some product on an e-commerce website, say I'm buying I'm buying a book, and below the book that I'm planning to buy, there will be some suggestions that you may also be interested in XYZ. Inside the content of the book also there will be links. Like if you ever read a Wikipedia page, there are a lot of links inside the content for terms you don't understand. So make sure that there is internal linking so that user can spend maximum time on your page, on your website, sorry, going from one page to another. Now the last part is more from the coding perspective. You guys are designers, so this is from the coding perspective, that we need to make sure that your code is streamlined. So whenever you design a beautiful website and hand it over to a developer, make sure you have a look at his code, that it is streamlined, it is appropriately placed. Google will not read a badly written code. That is for sure. If your code is not structured, Google is not going, it is not going to spend much time on your website, and it is going to further reduce your chances of getting searched. One of the points that I've written here is indexing or no follow. No indexing or no follow. So make sure that this is a very small tag that comes on the website. Like we had that title tag. If we set this tag to no follow, Google doesn't crawl our website. So these are more of technical terms. So sir, I think we should talk for questions here if anyone has.
Yeah, we should. If you have any question on this, see, these are more technical things, more of technical things. But these headings, these topics, if you are writing them down, you can later on Google them, study them better way. But this is the add-on information you are getting. You cannot learn SEO in 1.5 hours. What we are now telling you, the points which are important in SEO, which you may go ahead, if you find interest in some point, you can further dig into it and you come out with your own things. But we are telling you what are the important things in SEO. They might not be directly connected to our course or our syllabus, because when we are talking about internal linking one page to another, so we cannot do that as a designer. We design pages separately, we give it to developer, it is his job to link it, but then it's a UX UI designer job to see, did developer done the thing correctly, are all the pages are connecting, is there anywhere the link is there but either clicking on it, it is not going anywhere. If it happens, then Google punish you with lowering your ranking if you make such type of silly mistakes. So UX UI designer is responsible for the complete thing. See what he does, he research from the user, he come out with the user needs, user problem, pain points, then he understand the persona, then he makes flow charts, how from one page to another page it should go. Then he makes low fidelity wireframe, check it. Then medium fidelity wireframe, checks them. Then make high fidelity designs, and then he gives it to developer and make sure it goes according to what he's thinking. This website should be like this. It will download in 1 second. All the links are connected. The images are properly optimized for the website so that they can be downloaded easily. This he don't have to do, UX UI designer. You just have to make sure by testing the website, and the basic way of doing it that is there is user testing. When you test your website before launching and after launching also, but before launching it is very important. At that time you comes to know lot of mistakes. This click is not working on this page, this is not there. So that type of thing, and you should clear that all things, because Google look at it very seriously. If there is any linking problem in the website, Google take it very seriously, because he thinks you are not serious about your business, so he should not show you on. How Google works now, he sees your intent, how interesting you are to show on top in his search. If you work better, if you do all the things, then he understood that you want to be ranked, and then he ranks you. But if you do some loose work, if you don't follow the norms, if you don't do it technically correct, then Google will start putting you below. They will start reducing your rank. Okay. So
Perfect.
yeah, I just summarize it because these are very technical things. You might not understand, because see, UX UI design you will be learning for 4.5 months. SEO is also 2 to 3 months course, full SEO and other things. So, and we are not asking you to join SEO course to us. We are just giving you the additional knowledge so that you will understand certain things. And if the interest generates, you can explore yourself, because Google is there out there. You can explore anything on. So, if you
Right.
understood, can you please raise your hands? One question is there: can images play a role in SEO?
Yes, the images play a very important role in SEO, and that is what our next topic is about. I mean,
Okay,
one
so
of the
that
topic is about. We will
we are
cover
going to
that.
discuss. Yeah, that
Yes,
we are
yes,
going.
yes.
Any
They,
other
they,
thing? Yeah.
yeah.
That is a very valid question. So we are having a section for that thing also.
Yes,
So further, see, these things, all these topics are there. Again, I'm repeating. We are going to put this video on LMS, maybe, or LMS or YouTube, and it will be there. So you can visit it again to go through again this thing. Write down the terminology right now when you are attending this session, and later on you can Google it, and if interested, you can go ahead in that particular thing also. So we can continue.
yeah. So the next we are left with two topics now, and these are not really a part of the UI UX, but these are a part of the off-page optimization. So I'll go through them very quickly. So this one of the topics is basics of SEO. So there are, I don't know if you must have heard this term. Most of you may have not. After all the work that we do in developing the site, adding these links, keywords, what happens is agencies or companies like us who are SEO companies, what we do is uh, we keep submitting your website data to directories. Just to give you an example, I don't know how many of you know, but there earlier we did not have Google, or we did not rather have internet. So there used to be a book called Yellow Pages. Now, it used to be a very fat book, and that book had information of all the contacts in the city or a country. Very difficult to digest in today's digital times. But what that Yellow Pages book had is actually all the information, like right from the plumber to electrician to anyone. I mean, your builder, construction person. It had everyone's name, address, and contact inside it. So that Yellow Pages was a directory which had all the information. But in the internet age, or in this digital age, we don't need Yellow Pages. In fact, Yellow Pages is, I don't think people must have seen it over the last 15, 20 years. You know? So what we have now is directories which are online. Now we don't need to go in these directories and search for contacts. We just need to Google electrician near me, plumber near me, or UI UX design course near me. You know? But how do these results show up? Where do they show up from? One is of course Google, but then there are a lot of directories like these, which we have some of them we have listed here, where we submit our data. We create a data that the name of my organization is Edit Institute. I am placed in Dadar, for example. I am placed in Dadar, and this is the courses these are the courses I offer, and I submit, like I fill a form and submit this information in these directories. Now, when we submit this information to these directories, when we submit it to a lot of directories, it gives us a lot of visibility on the internet. Like Edit Institute Dadar, becomes like the search engines find a lot of places apart from the website. अभी फिलहाल Edit Institute Dadar की बात website पे ही हो रही है. But if I submit this information to, say, this directory called White Pages, when the Google crawler starts searching Edit Institute Dadar, it will find my information in my website. It will find it in White Pages also. It will find it in Yellowbot also. It will find it in Google Places also. Like if you search something, the first thing that comes is the Google Places. So this is what we do in off-page. We keep submitting our information to these directories. We keep submitting our website. That helps us build our presence over the internet. Otherwise, our presence is only limited to our, our own website. Now, there are types of directories. There are free directories and there are paid directories. There are some paid directories because they feel their ranking is high. They are very premium. If you submit to these directories, your website visibility is probably higher. So this is about the directories. You as a UX UI designer don't really need to know about this, but this is an add-on information. So this is one of the features that we spoke about as a part of directories. We also call it as SERP. It is not a very complicated term. It just means that search engine results page. Now, if I Google right now, like we Googled this, UI UX design course in Mumbai, I could see results in different way. The first is an ad. So we have edit ad in the top. There are ads. The first part is taken up by ads, say 10% of it. If you notice, the next 20% of this Google's page is covered by this thing called Google My Business or Google Local. So I have Edit Institute Dadar, which comes second for this keyword, UI UX design course in Mumbai. So this is also a part of SEO or organic search. I mean, it is not a coincidence कि Edit Institute Dadar second आ गया या third आ गया. We have done some work on this. We have submitted our data to Google so that it shows us results in the top. In fact, just to share with you, even when you write reviews, say you are a student of Edit, and if you have written a review saying that I completed the UX UI design, the diploma in UX UI design from Edit, what Google does is it will definitely read your review, but it will pick up that keyword from your review. And that keyword is diploma in UX UI design. And it will start ranking Edit on basis of that keyword. But if you write a plain review, not only for Edit, for anywhere, that the class was fantastic, the teachers were superb, the syllabus is nice, Google will not understand anything. It will not understand what course you are talking about. And actually, what are you talking about? When did you do the course? Though, your intention is quite positive and clear. So these are all the other aspects that come later after you develop a website.
Here I will like to, 1 minute, Bhushan sir. Here yes. I will like, can we go back? Here I will like to appeal our students that they should also give the review about for Edit Institute for their respective centers. And as Bhushan sir told, they should put the course name in it. Otherwise, whatever your intention is, you are saying institute is great, good, but that doesn't work in Google. if you put your course name in that, Edit Institute is good for UX UI design, I got good results for UX UI design, or the faculty teaches very well UX UI design, then only, it's a technical thing I am telling, then only Google connects it, and then only it benefits. Otherwise these are plain text. Like keyword is very important. Okay,
So,
thank you.
so sir, I'll tell you why otherwise also it is very important and why Google doesn't show it.
Okay.
Because for those students, like if I am a student and I want to take admission in Edit, and if I read a review which is generic, that I like the faculty, I like the syllabus, but I don't know which course you studied. You know, so as a new student, I don't know if the UX UI design course is good or the graphic design course is good. What is this person in the review talking about? So it is not a very helpful information for a new user who's reading reviews. Hence, Google will not show that review or not show that listing as such.
Okay.
So the other things are like the first one we saw is Google My Business listings. Second is video tagging. So if you are using videos on your website, you know, make sure you tag them properly. You use keywords to tag them. The third part is the image part. You know, like someone had asked a question, how important images are when it comes to designing a website or SEO. Now let me share with you that over a period of years, the way Google shows results has drastically changed. Drastically. Over a period of last 1 month or 2 months, it has even changed further. Earlier, if you Googled something, you would only see ads. You would see this part and not so huge, you know. You would see this part also in a very short fashion. And then you would see the organic results. But now what you also see is this part. People also ask. Now what you also see is question and answers, you know, and slowly what you will also start seeing here right on the top, we don't know where exactly, what you will start seeing next is images. So images are now going to be part of the main search result that Google displays. So naming your images is at this point of time become very critical. So that is how proper nomenclature or naming your images is important, because now Google is going to show results in 10 different ways apart from your ads and the organic results that we see. And I'm really saying it's 10 different ways, and one of them is images. So the other part, Satish sir, is very technical. Probably this is for the developers. But as a UX UI designer, I just want you to know that there are certain lines of codes that we need to add from a site called schema.org, you know, to our website, which will make sure that Google searches our website. As of now, I think even if we know this much information about technical information about, you know, schema markup or technical SEO, I think this is enough. And then the most important thing is XML sitemaps. So when you have designed the site, make sure you have a sitemap. The sitemap is basically a structure or like a flow or a flow chart, a technical flow chart of which consists all the pages of your website, and it also shows the links between them. So I think, sir, this is it as far as the SEO and UI UX topics are
in that XML sitemap and schema markup codes, is you don't have to write from scratch. You got some softwares where you can generate them, but after generating, you need to submit them. And that
Correct.
is a very important work of SEO person, a digital marketing person, to do such type of thing. You don't have to do it again and again. When you design a website and then website is developed and you are uploading it, after uploading, you can generate the sitemap using some tools online, and that sitemap also you can upload on your where you are hosted your website. So these are very technical things, but this thing words are very important. XML sitemap, schema markup codes. So these are 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or maybe maximum half an hour work, but it is very important. And this is once in a blue moon. Means once you have, after designing a new website, only once you have to submit this. You don't have to do it again and again. And
Correct.
while you are designing, you don't have to think about this. These are the
Perfect.
technical things you think later on after you after the site got developed and uploaded. Then only you need to think about it.
Right. Also, why we have put this here is the intention, sir, is that a lot of times when you design a website, you may come across these terms while communicating with the developer, and that time you should not feel that you are very alien to these terms or this is the first time you are hearing them. You can, like, right now you don't need to have a complete knowledge of this, but you have at least understood that these are the terms that will more or less at some point of time you will come across.
Yeah, because you will be a team member, a team which will be designing a website and developing it and uploading it and managing it.
Right.
So in that, your role will be UX UI designer. There will be a development person. There will be a digital marketing SEO person, and all of you are collaborating with each other. While collaborating, these technical words will come. You should not be alienized, as Bhushan sir told. You should know little bit. You are not going to do it. Somebody else. But if they forgot to do it, if they are not doing it, you can tell them, boss, ऐसा ऐसा मैंने सुना है, तो साइट में आप अपलोड करना है ना, then you will say, अरे हाँ करना है. So that way you can help also, but mostly these people are very professional. They will understand what to do. If they are not professional, then you can little bit instruct them. This also needs to, means if you want to do good SEO, what you need to do, you need to submit to directory. What you need to do when you are designing, you need to use proper keywords. The content should have proper keywords in it. What you should do, your images should not be heavy. A website should not be full of images. And then when a developer team working on your website as a UX UI designer, you need to see they are developing it according to your terms, not what they think is correct. So there also you guide them. When digital marketing team comes, then also, because you are the you did user research, means you started this project. Now a UX UI designer's responsibility is to complete this project. And when it will complete, not after uploading, when the site starts functioning, when user starts coming on your website, and if there is any issue, means as Bhushan sir told, some users are coming on website and they are immediately they are going away, means that is technically these people called bounce rate. So then you come to know that this page is having maximum bounce rate. So there is some problem with the UX UI. So we need to design it in a different way. So that is how UX UI designer role never ends with just designing the website, because he is responsible for the designer, not the developers and digital marketing. At the end, the user should get good experience. Means when he is searching, your site should come. When he's filling the forms, when he's searching the content, when he's looking for something, so the correct words, keywords should be there, so that user experience will be enhanced.
Right. Yes. So the last part of the topic is the key takeaways. We are now open to any queries or any type of questions that people have from the session we have today.
On SEO, so if you have anything, means from start to end, or if you have any other thing which is we are not covered here, so that also you can ask. And if you have understood it, so you can raise your hands. I think as we took question and answer in between topics also, so I think majority of students understood this thing. There might be some technical things which they might not understood right now, right here. But again, as I told, they will gradually, when they will work in a company, and then their colleagues will tell them, this needs to do this. This is the thing. then they will say, okay, what I had heard also. So that
Right.
that way it will help. So
Right.
if everybody had understood everything, then what we should do is Ankit, can you show the feedback form? Ankit sir, are you there?
No, no, sir.
Yeah, can you just click on that feedback form? So that is called polls below. Okay. So can you, Bhushan sir, can you click on that poll?
Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah,
So shall I launch the poll?
You launch the poll, then again we are going to talk to students. Just launch the poll, and
Okay.
then we'll conclude. Yeah.
Yes, I have.
So, so this is the poll. Just fill this, and then we'll have a concluding thing from Bhushan sir and myself. Please, student, fill this immediately so that we can move ahead with the concluding thing. Okay, Bhushan sir, if you see the
Yes,
English
yes. So
poll is there.
25 people as of now have voted. So shall I?
Yeah, yeah, you can close that also.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Right.
at the end, as in our, this is the series add-on skills for UX UI designer. We start with Google tools for UX UI design last month. Then we did HTML5 CSS3, and now we are doing SEO, that is an add-on skill. Later on in this series, we'll bring you some from industry, some experts on a different skills. So be there for that. And if you have any suggestion on this, please talk to your faculties also, respective faculties. If you have any say, what type of additional skills you think you want, so we also will consider. And if from you who are listening, who are attending, if you are expert in some particular thing, you also can come here and share your knowledge as an expert. So thanks, Bhushan sir, for sharing very important technical, non-technical, and with your experience as a co-founder of ours. Thank you very much. I will
Thank you,
thank
Satish sir, and thank you all the students. Yes.
I will thank my technical team also, Ankit and other people. And thanks student for attending. We'll meet soon for next add-on skill webinar. So thank you everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You can stop